Hi, welcome to the Pre-Snore History Hub. In this video, we're going to be looking at the Kerner Report, which came after the riots. So the riots of 1965 to 67, there's another video on them, the previous video, if you want to have a look at what actually happened in the riots, caused President Johnson and his advisors to investigate the factors behind them, so what was causing people to riot in the first place. The National Advisory Commission on Civil Disorders was set up and they published the Kerner Report in 1968. The Black Power movement had made it clear that equality of opportunity did not exist, and the Kerner Report stated that racism was deeply embedded within American society. It also concluded that the USA was moving towards two different societies, one being black, one being white, meaning that they were separate and definitely unequal. The report not only highlighted the economic issues faced by Black Americans, but also the systematic police bias and brutality. The Kerner Report recommended sweeping federal initiatives that would mean increased expenditure. So there's the report itself. So these are some of the things that were highlighted in detail within the Kerner Report. It said that the riots were the result of ghetto conditions that were produced by segregation and discrimination. So the riots were an effect of segregation and discrimination in these areas. The riots came after white officials failed to fix problems that the black community had already pointed out. So they were basically saying that they had tried other methods before and that rioting was a last resort. They didn't go to that first. White officials should listen to black communities and involve black people in solving problems instead of just forcing things upon them. The police should change their policing to provide more protection within ghettos. The police needed to change their unfair and sometimes brutal treatment of black people. During the riots, the police have made the situation worse by using violence. Federal money given after the riots to improve conditions was usually spent on training and equipping the police with even more weapons to deal with riots. So they're just facing the problem with more violence rather than actually spending the money on improving ghettos and improving policing within ghettos. There was no serious attempt to improve the ghettos or to win the trust of the black community. The media had sensationalised the riots, almost always exaggerating the damage, and numbers of dead and the amount of federal aid given afterwards was also exaggerated. So even though this all represents quite a lot of progress, later on in 1968, there's another election and President Nixon, Richard Nixon, is elected rather than having Johnson as president. So it means that sadly most of this report was completely ignored going forward. So even though it is progress, nothing was really acted upon, nothing was really implemented because of this report. Okay, thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the History Hub. The next video is going to be all about Martin Luther King's Northern Campaign and his assassination.